Shut up! I don't know what happened because I covered my face.
There's a lot of things that I still don't believe. Even though people have shown me videos on stuff and saying, like, if you it's like, here's proof right here. And, like, you can never really believe almost anything you see on the internet anymore because there's a lot of shit out there that's just, like, really good at being faked.
To quote Tom from Tom and Jerry, don't you believe it?
Yeah. Although, Casual Geographic seems like a pretty straight shooter, and, you know, I'm more apt to believe him than most. So, I just decided, what the hell, let's check out a video that he has called If You Never Saw It Before, You Wouldn't Believe It Was Real.
He seems like he does a fair amount of homework on things.
Yes, and he doesn't seem like one who likes to pull the wool over people's eyes and make them feel stupid.
Now, with nature, it's easier to take the wool away to impress people because there's a lot of stuff out there that people are just like, what?
Yeah, like,
when they find out about it, you know?
Like, wait, that's real? Yeah, it is a lot of the times. So
there's a reason National Geographic pretty much existed off of nature for a period of time, like.
Yes.
Until they became more of a historical documentary channel.
Yeah.
Just something kind of random after that.
And then the history.
I don't really understand anymore.
National Geographic became about history. The History Channel became about aliens. And then, of course, you know, sci-fi became. I don't know what the hell sci-fi is up to nowadays.
Except for the most part, National Geographic did exist on TV-friendly stuff that wouldn't give you nightmares, whereas Casual Geographic's not afraid to just completely screw up your whole life, you know?
Yeah.
The stuff in nature that is there that can screw up your whole life.
I get that. But we have here a video from him, and I guess let's just go ahead and check it out and be amazed or terrified of what we're about to see. So, here we go.
I'm already trying to figure out what I'm looking at.
What the hell?
Nah, because y'all seem to think I know everything like I'm a walking encyclopedia, but if I'm being honest here, I know what the that was supposed to be like. I had to go in the comments for this. And apparently that's not a deformity. That's actually what they're supposed to look like. It's a Damascus goat. It originated in Middle East countries and is primarily used for meat and milk. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say God makes mistakes, but that skull makes me think his draft and post...
That's a very... That's a derpy looking skull right there.
Yes, it is.
Buttons are way too close to each other. Also, a Damascus named God won a prize for most beautiful goat in a contest in 2008. Proving that some of y'all will lie unprovoked for no reason. Y'all can call him beautiful, but tell me this goat didn't crawl straight out the Goonies. They actually look somewhat normal as babies, but then I guess puberty hits them like Hiroshima. It's honestly the pug of goats, and I truly mean that. And I read some comments on the internet saying, oh, he just wants love. I rebuke that. He wants my life essence. We played God with goats, now we got Barnyard and Dark Souls, and I do not like it. And I could have sworn Satan took the form of a goat. Actually, this makes a lot of sense now. You know, y'all don't gotta tag me in every animal video, because like, what do you expect me to say? Like, his existence looks like pain. And for y'all that are gonna sit there and tell me that he actually looks cute, I pay way too much for context for y'all to lie about what's in front of my face. Crazy thing is, this is the second most disturbing goat video I've ever seen.
Hello.
Can I help you?
Absolutely not.
And no.
So one of them always like, where is his ears?
I don't know. But he's just like, he's like, may I come in? No, you may not. Crazy goat that may or may not be on drugs.
I both can and cannot fully explain
It looks
what
like
that
a
is.
very, very
It's
large
called
bat.
Beluga, but it's also known as a flying lemur, even though there's somehow two lies in that one name. They don't fly, they glide, and since they spend most of their lives in their trees, they basically just airdrop themselves from branch to branch. And it's not a lemur. Lemurs are primates, making them related to gorillas, chimps, and us. But this thing isn't a primate. Whoever named it would probably name an atheist faith. They use that stretchy membrane called a patagium to glide like flying squirrels, and they can travel 650 feet without stopping. That's 200 meters or a little bit less than 2 football fields. But it's not a flying squirrel. There was a time people thought they were just God's rough draft of a bat, but colugos aren't related to bats either. And if you look at the order they're in, Dermotera, they're the only living members.
Damn.
To a family reunion and finding out you're the only one left. And because their entire personality involves flying, they're too slow and awkward to survive on the ground. And for an animal that lives in the trees, they're pretty mid-climbers. They're so bad at life that being nocturnal is probably the only thing keeping them alive. Other Kalugals will carry their babies everywhere for the first 6 months, which made some people believe it was a marsupial, like some type of deformed air koala. But it's none of those things. So what the is it? Well, scientists perform genetic analyses on them.
So marsupials usually have pouches.
Carpet, and it turns out their closest
Some do,
relatives
yes.
are primates. It's pretty much the closest you can get to primates without actually being one. Which means this dehydrated Dollar Tree chipmunk is more related to you than it is to an actual squirrel or bat. The more you know.
Anyone know that this is why you should never touch this?
Oh, no, that will kill you.
Locus atlanticus, it's a type of nudibranch, but it's also known as a sea slug. It's also a gastropod mollusk. I'm not finna bore you with a whole biology lesson, but gastropod means it's related to snails, and mollusk means it pulls up to the same cookout as octopus, squid, and cuttlefish. Also, touching one like this is a creative way of saying you want to pay more for health insurance. Because these slugs will eat venomous siphonophores like the Portuguese man of war and steal its venom to use to handle its own light work. It stores the venom in its tissue, so if a predator or a person gets too close, they'll get 50 shades of around and find out. Do I cuss too much? Like, I know kids watch me, but then again, they watch Family Guy before 4th grade, so I don't even know anymore. And just like the Portuguese Sorrow Scuffle, the Glaucus can still hand out painful life lessons even after its soul's already ascended. Basically, they don't need to be alive to put you in the hospital. So if you see one on the beach, it's definitely
It's like a jellyfish.
Because if anything's that
If you
small
step
and
on a
that
dead
colorful, there's
jellyfish
probably a good
and
reason they don't
fuck
need to
you
hide.
up.
It'll still fuck you up,
Exhibit A.
yeah.
This blue vibe check can be found off the coast of South Africa, in European waters, off the east coast of Australia, because Australia, and some have even been found in the Gulf of California. There are also hermaphrodites that mate by sword fighting and stabbing each other. Normally in nature, the winner gets the female, but here the loser becomes one. The more you know. Here's a story of how 76 beavers were parachuted into Idaho, and yes, that is a thing that happened. So in the 1940s, the people of Idaho had beef with the buck-toothed beaver population, mainly because their habit of taking down trees was causing floods in people's yards and damage to gardens. But because beavers actually contribute to society, unlike some of the people complaining about them, the government decided that instead of squad wiping them, it would just be better to move them to another area code. The only problem was the moving process for beavers involved putting them in boxes and Ubering them via horses and mules. This was the 40s, there was no beaver U-Haul. These boxes would overheat and the beavers would become so stressed that they would refuse to eat, and the horses and mules carrying them eventually got pressed too. It was a bad time for everyone involved. So they realized they had to get creative. And apparently creative meant tying the boxes to parachutes from World War II and literally airdropping them into the Idaho wilderness. But of course, you can't just eat a beaver out of a plane without being sure you weren't just committing beaver slaughter with extra steps. So they experimented the best and safest ways to drop beavers from a plane, and the test subject they used was an old been-around-the-block beaver named Geronimo. You really can't make this up. After using old man Geronimo to figure out the perfect height and area to drop the beavers, it was time. August 14th, 1948 was D-Day, as 76 beavers were loaded into crates and flown in a twin engine where they skydived to their new home. And these furry paratroopers had a 99% success rate, but only because one of the beavers managed to escape and jump out of the box when he was 76 feet from the ground and took himself off the census when he met the ground. Other than that, the rest of the Air Force beavers managed to land safely.
All you had to do was stay in the box, little dude.
He's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to.
It's like, oh crap, I'm trapped. Oh crap, what is happening? Oh my god!
Ah!
And to most people, this was a success. PETA wasn't happy about it, but you know, PETA gon' PETA. Also, it turns out each parachuting beaver cost taxpayers about $7 a beaver, so I'd say it worked out pretty well. Today, we have better ways to control the beaver population, but something about 76 beavers being airmailed and parachuted like some DLC just brings me joy. One of my favorite all-time animal facts was that the CIA once tried to weaponize otters for some reason, because the 60s were a weirder, druggier time, I guess. But they were low-key onto something. Because otters are smart enough to use tools, tough enough to survive the freezing ocean without blubber. They'll square up and run fades with jaguars and caiman. I've seen them do it. And even though they look like plush toys, they have the power to seriously f you up if you give them a reason. They're like honey badgers with better swim time. So someone in the CIA created a report called the Otter Dossier, and I'm going to read you my favorite parts. According to the Otter Dossier, they can be trained to climb ladders and stairs, can carry objects underwater, open zippers, throw objects with their mouth, and turn on faucets. They somehow figured out that a motivated water weasel can chew through a zinc sheet, and I honestly couldn't tell you how they found that one out. There's a lot of other stuff in there too, like how to properly take care of otter pups, because apparently they get diarrhea. A lot. But by far my favorite part is where they say otters are easy to train, but they can become too devoted to humans, which can lead to their destruction. Yeah, honestly, same. The report also mentions that they're almost impossible to transport because an otter that feels confined can and will attempt to destroy anything trying to escape. The report also specifically says never to take food from an otter because, and I might be paraphrasing here, take their food and they take your fingers. Matter of fact, the exact quote was, never take food from an otter, particularly that which he has just caught or suffer severe mauling. Yeah, someone got really up for them to put that there.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you have the chance, please read the whole report. I'm gonna put it in the comments. I mean, there's a chance the report's fake and none of this ever happened, but it's so detailed, like too much effort went into it for it to be a lie. Moral of this video, otters are smart, nasty, and they give less than a prom night virgin. Basically weapons of otter destruction.
Turkey's performing demon ritual on past tense cat.
Wow.
Damn.
So there's actually a really interesting and complex reason why turkeys do this. Turkeys are so f***ing stupid that it's actually medically fascinating. Like, they're not dumb enough to stare at the sky during a storm and reverse baptize themselves. That's actually a well-known myth. But they are brain cell deficient enough to not tell the difference between a threat to their way of life and an expired cat. It's likely the turkeys are curious about the past tense cat, but too paranoid to get too close to the corpse because, again, turkeys have no idea it's dead and no way of knowing if it's dangerous. What you're seeing is a prey response that only an animal locked in the basement of the food chain can come up with. As for the circling, birds like turkeys, chickens, and pheasants will instinctively follow the tail of the bird in front of them. It's a behavior that helps keep them together as a flock since holding hands isn't really an option. So pretty much these turkeys are stuck in a never-ending cycle of follow the leader, but none of them actually identify as one, so they just keep going. And fun fact, this bird was almost the mascot of America, since a guy named Ben Franklin thought bald eagles were cowardly scavengers that didn't deserve the clout. But if you YouTube what a bald eagle really sounds like, he might have been on timing. So yeah, turkeys are, I'm not gonna say they're stupid, but I'm not gonna say they're aware of the world either. Someone asked me what I think the most underrated animal
Ever
is.
since I saw that episode of South Park with a really derpy looking turkey, I can't think of turkeys without thinking of that one. And apparently there's a... That's actually pretty appropriate. They're pretty derpy, apparently.
I'd say my favorite one is from...
It's like got its head like permanently and just like... with the big ass fucking eyeballs.
Yeah. I remember there was one, it was a Kill Frog, the one on Kill Frog. There were the three evil pigs, and they basically rigged the competition to where the person that they always were after, Little Susie, they rigged the competition where she would lose, and it was a Thanksgiving based one. And she's like, "Oh man, all right, what's the punishment?" It's just like, you know how every Thanksgiving you and your family eat a turkey? Well, now a giant turkey's gonna eat you. And all of a sudden, a turkey comes out. It's a giant, like 8 foot tall turkey. It's just like, blah 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 blah. Walks up to her and eats her, but he also eats the microphone, and the microphone electrocutes the turkey, and the turkey like explodes, and it's just, and the turkey's just like cooked perfectly there on stage, and the pigs are just like, all right, free food.
Of this picture, goats really do be goating.
Yes.
The bottom of their hooves have soft pads that contour to the surface they're climbing, which allows them to be a middle finger to the laws of physics. This isn't photoshopped. These are the tree-climbing goats of Morocco. They figured out that the fruits of the argan tree are an easy source of food, and when nature says climb, goats say how high. This is an alpine ibex. They'll scale up the Cingino Dam in Italy just to lick the salt off the stones and let the rest of the world wonder how. For y'all to think goats are just some hippie free-climbing sheep, they eat their Wheaties. Some male mountain goats can tip the scales at over 300 pounds.
They're big.
A mountain goat once caught a fade with a grizzly, and it was the bear that got turned into a trophy. Got smoke for you too if you want it. Hikers have been warned when going through the Olympic national...
Hey man, they don't, like, big old goats like that don't fuck around.
And they do have a couple of knives to their advantage too. So. And
they also have speed and that ramming ability that they have with their horns, dude.
They're like the mammal version of the pachycephalosauruses with the hard tops of their heads.
Yes.
Because the mountain goats there have started harassing people. The reason is because the mountain goats there have gotten addicted to the salt and human sweat and pee.
Yeah, most goats, I see most goats, I hear, bah. I see that goat, and it's like, bah. Yeah. Because look at that thing. Bah. 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 Or I hear Rambro. You remember? I think it was before your time. We reacted
the same
to.
age as you.
No, it was.
Oh,
before,
you mean on the channel?
On the channel. It was before your time on the channel.
Excuse me.
It was before your time on the channel. There's a Rambro. It's a channel from New Zealand. It's this guy who is on this nature reserve, and there's this angry, big, like twisted horn ram that lives on there, and he calls him Rambro.
Wait, I think you showed me that.
The first video
like where he beats the living crap out of punching bags.
Yes,
yeah,
that's Rambro.
You showed me that,
and sadly, Rambro has passed away.
Yeah.
But his memory will live on. And also, he did have a couple of children. He had a son named Thor, and a son named Dodge.
Nice.
Dodge Ram. So, yeah, and also, I'm never gonna forget.
Also, I'm assuming if he's coming straight for you, like Dodge.
Yeah. Also, I'm never gonna forget Rambro's like whenever he like instead of buying, you know, or like a ram, instead he goes. I'll show y'all after this. It's easily one of the most like horrifying moments ever. In terms of like hearing an animal like speak for the first time.
And they'll press you just to get their fix. Peeing on a trail in their area code is like a Batman signal to a fiending goat. One actually took a man off the census and wouldn't even let first responders get near his body. Those goats became such a menace that they had to be airdropped somewhere else. The media won't admit it, but out of all the bears, cougars, and wolves, goats are the real G's, but like lasagna, they move in silence. You only have 3 seconds. If you can't find it, you're already dead.
I see it.
Alright, time's up. Here's why you always look up if you're under a tree in Tanzania. That is a leopard.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, I saw it.
It looks like a bird's nest.
I saw it right before he came back. I was just like, there it is. Because, you know, the spots gave it away.
Yeah, it just looks like a
Leopards
bird's
are the
nest
best
to me.
climbers of any big cat. And they'll stalk their victims in branches only to drop down and put them in God's will. And they'll wait up in the trees for hours for the right opportunity to strike. And if you try to escape by climbing up the tree, that'd be like stealing multiple water.
Joke's on you, fucker.
That's not important. That's only one reason you should be careful under trees. Because leopards carry their meals up in trees where they don't have to pay food taxes to lions or hyenas.
But honey badgers still fuck with them.
And leopards are so freakishly strong that they can deadlift animals heavier than they are up into the trees using only their mouth. Yes, that is a giraffe. But because leopards keep anything they can reach up in the trees, you can really become a hashtag if a leopard's lunch gets airdropped to the back of your head. Which means at least once in the history of mankind, a child became an orphan because a half-eaten rhino fell from a tree and put his father in a Twitter bio. And when I say leopards will fly out of a tree to catch a body, I mean they don't have fall damage, or at least they don't think they do. Leopards have a hit list of over 90 different species of animal, and they're so good at stat padding that they'll sometimes accidentally friendly fire.
Ooh! I can just hear it now. He's just like, oh shit, look out! Sorry, bro. Just dropped a friggin'
I think it only got hit by the
on his
neck
back.
of it. I think it's probably okay considering how it jumped. It was like,
I
hey,
think
what
it's
the
fine.
fuck?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Unlike that one cow who went head to head with a ram, that cow is not okay. Oh!
So fun fact, this animal sends more people to the ER than bears, wolves, and cougars combined. The American bison is the heaviest thing with a heartbeat in North America, maxing out at over 2,200 pounds.
Yeah. You see Cape buffalo and then the American great buffalo. I mean, I've seen some in real life. Like, I was at they have some in Abingdon that was on like a little nature reserve thing. Dude, I walked down on the track next to that thing. Those things are big. They are massive.
Those, along with moose, were some of the animals that, like, as a kid, I had a smaller image in my head of how big they'd actually be until I actually seen one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, damn.
Jesus.
They can also grow to 10 feet long, run you down at 35. If you try to run from the smoke by hopping over a fence, a motivated bison can clear a 6-foot fence.
Yes.
Now, there's 2 reasons why this guy is seriously testing his life insurance. One is because they're pretty much legally blind, so like rhinos, they respond to anything that moves with violence. And 2 is because a bison is a great value meal for predators. Wolves and grizzlies have been known to smoke an apple pack, and mountain lions will target unaccompanied baby bison.
Yeah, bison will fuck like other ones over just to get away.
That generational trauma means a bison is more likely to turn a person into a chalk outline if they get out of line. The difference between a bear and an animal like a moose or bison is a bear looks at you and has to decide if you're even worth the effort. A bison assumes you're going to turn him into calories and will barrel roll you first. But because bison in national parks are used to being around people, they're usually pretty chill unless you get too close. The only problem is getting too close is how pictures like this happen. Someone had to go home with no pants and explain that she lost him because she couldn't social distance from a tank with horns. Yeah, Don't do that. Because Bison isn't just a name. It's what your parents are going to say at your casket if Appa decides to turn up on you.
Terrifying sound of a woman becoming a hashtag.
That's why M. Bison is a pretty badass name.
The biggest mistake you could make is going to save that woman. Because that's not a woman getting turned into a headline. That was a female mountain lion in heat.
Yes.
Female cougars will often make these shrieking, blood-curdling screams when they're in estrus. It's like their Batman signal for getting laid. Answering that call when it's not for you is how you meet Batman's parents. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Cougars are way more afraid of you and will probably go the other way if you pull up on them. What won't go away are the bricks in your pants after you try to be a hero and make eye contact with this walking steroid. I know it's not related, but I'm still going to mention it. Tigers have been known to imitate the sounds of their prey to fool them into a false sense of security before they turn them into a hashtag. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, this is a margay and they do the exact same thing with baby monkeys. Now, I'm not saying the cougars do it on purpose, but I am saying that nature is a bitch like that.
Yes.
Also, I forgot to mention that cougars tend to scream while mating. So if you're ever alone...
You know, my mom breeds cats. And
This is the face of the one that's on the bottom.
this one here is just like, ah, yeah! This is like, I cannot believe that. I'm so disappointed.
She's just like, I don't feel a thing.
Ugh. My mom breeds cats, so I'm used to hearing the wailing and screaming of certain cats because when cats breed, it's painful. I'm glad my mom's starting to like phase out of it. She's not doing it doing cat breeding as much.
I don't like the idea of that.
It's just one of those things, dude. It's nature.
That's why my pet kitty is fixed and is not going to be having kitties.
Getting more action than you.
Uh-oh.
You know penguins will sell themselves, but like, in that way? Let me explain. This is an Adelie penguin. If you hear a messed up penguin fact, it usually involves them. So basically, Adelies build their nests out of piles of pebbles, which means two things. Pebbles are a penguin's form of currency, and the penguin with the most pebbles is considered the most attractive. So female Adelie penguins will offer their bodies to males in exchange for a rock, and yeah, it's exactly what I'm making it sound like. Sometimes the female will give it up to a male in exchange for a pebble, even though she already has a mate waiting for her back at the nest. Scientists can't really confirm this, but it's believed the females do this so that if their mate gets packed up by a seal or something, they still have a backup. Doesn't stop there, because a lot of times the female will pretend to be interested in the single male, and right when the male thinks he's about to get it in, she takes the pebble and runs back to her actual mate. The best example I can think of is if you buy a girl a drink only for her to take it and bring it over to her man on the other side of the bar. Basically, these penguins pull a Cardi B, but, you know, without the Cosby part. And before you feel bad for them, just remember...
I was gonna say, it sounds to me more like the situations I've seen in movies sometimes where the prostitutes will like be like, oh yeah, let's have a drink before, you know, and stuff like, oh yeah, tell me all about it, and she ends up actually drugging him.
Yeah.
She steals his wallet and just like, have a good night. Like while he's just fucking passed out.
Yeah.
Leaves. It's like sucker.
It's just like I keep my wallet in my front pocket, and it's super awkward for her to get it, and I'm just like, and she's just like, God dang it. Oh God.
Adelies have been known to have relations with injured females, chicks, penguin corpses, and one even hooked up with the ground.
Yes.
To completion.
Yes.
Penguins are dressed as Wall Street brokers, and they have the moral compass of one too.
Hey!
Friendly reminder that reindeer will eat this special magic mushroom that'll get them so high that they'll wander around aimlessly and make a bunch of weird drunken noises. And the mushroom's toxic to us, but if you drink the pee of a reindeer that's eating it, you too can get elevated and hella faded. Basically, getting R. Kelly by a reindeer.
I don't think I
will
want to
have
be
you
drinking.
I'm not drink. I don't want to drink like elk piss.
I'm
believe
not
you can
that
fly as
desperate
well.
to trip.
The more you know.
Oh,
I will never be that desperate to trip.
me neither. Hold on. There we are. So yeah, Rambro versus a punching bag. Ram versus punching bag. Yeah, this.
Sorry.
You're good. Yeah, here it is. This is Rambro, everybody. And this is what Rambro sounds like. It's the most metal ram I've ever seen. He's like, he's like, and now I will now sing the song of my people. I love the Angry Ram so much. And also, just him destroying a punching bag. Yeah. Yay! He's just like, and he's still going after it too. He's still ramming it. You done? Alright, Rambro. Yeah. Rambro, the Angry Ram, rest in peace, my dude. He was an internet legend for the longest time. And I never will forget just his unfortunate passing. I was like, no.
Yeah.
So you forget where it was. Yeah. Oh, it's not Thor, it's Thunder. Yeah.
There is thunder, not lightning.
Yeah, tribute to Rambro, the Angry Ram. And they've done a few more videos of like Rambro's children and stuff like that. But still, though, that's I think it's cool that he kept the channel going after after Rambro passed away. But yeah, that was a Casual Geographic with his video. It was there were some disturbing facts in that, dude. I know that the leopard, you know, I knew that they were pretty devastating in terms of their overall prowess as hunters, but damn, I mean, you know, seeing it carry a baby rhino and a baby giraffe and a full-grown springbok up the friggin' tree, I was like, damn, that's a bad motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's definitely some stuff to fear out in the wilds, which is why, for the most part, I keeps my ass inside. I mean, I'm more than happy to go to cities and stuff like that. You know, I'd love to go back to New York and just see the sights and all that. But you ain't gonna find my ass out in the middle of the Serengeti, because I don't want to wind up becoming a meme. I mean, that would suck. Like, all of a sudden, it's just like, all this work I've done on this channel, all the videos I put out, all for me to wind up as a stupid-ass meme, it's like, drunk asshole gets too close to lions, fucks around and finds out. That's basically gonna be the hashtag for me when I get eaten by lions. Anyway, thank y'all very much for tuning in. Be sure to check out Casual Geographic. Be sure to sub to us if you want to come back for more. And if there's other stuff you want us to watch, feel free to head over to our Discord where you can make requests. That's one of the primary ways that we're going to see this stuff. So until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
We'll see you later, everybody. Peace.